Hey guys, Jessica here. So today we're going to talk about a question that I get by email a lot, and that is when can you have a prenatal lactation session? And the answer is whenever you want. I have actually seen moms who are still in the trying to conceive phase, but they have questions about the likelihood of feeding challenges arising. They have questions about how does some of this stuff work, and they just want to go ahead and talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about. I see lots of moms. The most common time is we see them after about 28 weeks. Ideally, I like to see you between 28 to 32 weeks because by that point, we know what health complications have arisen with the pregnancy. In most cases, we have a pretty good idea how the pregnancy is progressing. We know kind of where you're at with your birth plans because, for sure, second trimester, there's a lot of things that are up in the air still. There's just a lot of developing facts. By 28 to 32 weeks, we typically have most of the facts. We know what we're kind of on guard for with the delivery, and then that allows us to create that prenatal plan. But if you've had a rough first journey or you have witnessed somebody who had a rough breastfeeding journey, you can come in as soon as you see a second line on the test or even before. We don't judge. I actually had a mom who recently reached out and she was like, "You were my second email after, getting the OBGYN appointment set up because she had a really rough first breastfeeding experience and she wanted to know how early I was willing to see her." And when I was like, "Well, my next available appointment is in 2 days." So we're gonna meet because it's important to her to have this information at this point in her journey. Everybody is unique. For me personally, as soon as I find out that I'm expecting another baby, I'm thinking about how I'm going to feed them. I am going through the things that I wish I had done differently with the previous child. I am thinking through what I want to do with this next child, how that's going to look in the context of my family at a given time. So for some people in the first trimester, they're not thinking about that, and that's okay too. You may just be planning your nursery. You may just not even be planning anything. You're just trying to survive morning sickness. Everybody's different, so there is no dedicated time in which you have to have met a certain criteria to have a prenatal session with us. It's just not, there is nothing there. We are always offering self-pay services, which means we're not even constrained to what insurance offers. Sometimes you will have insurance coverage for certain visits, and there are rules on that you have to be a certain number of weeks for a lot of insurance companies in order to qualify for your free coverage or your reduced cost coverage. But that's not true for everybody. And what I always encourage moms to do is to think about what they need. Having kids is expensive. I wish we were in an ideal world where insurance companies were super generous with breastfeeding coverage because I really think that would improve our breastfeeding rates, which improves the outcomes for the insurance companies. Breastfeeding care is preventative care and it saves the insurance companies money. But it's also an easy target because it's not always considered medically necessary. And it's a very easy thing where the laws that govern it are really poorly and vaguely written. So not everybody's going to have coverage. Don't let your insurance company's failings dictate the care that you're going to access. We have to buy things for our babies. It is okay to find a provider that you want to work with and to save the money to work with them at a later time. It's okay to think about, on average, I would expect most moms would benefit from having a prenatal appointment, an initial appointment, and then if everything is going good, probably another appointment about 6 to 12 weeks postpartum, just to make sure that the milk supplies come in nice and strong, baby's continuing to thrive. So for most people, I would plan on 3 visits. That seems to be what I see people on average for. If we get a complicated situation, it could be more because some babies are really challenging to feed and we may have ongoing care needs. But this is something that you can save for, just like you save for strollers, just like you save for cribs. This is a cost that if you are trying to breastfeed, maybe something that you want to go ahead and figure out how you're going to pay for that so that you think about it ahead of time, rather than just assuming that breastfeeding is going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy, because it's often not. And then you find yourself with this unexpected bill. Now, if you have insurance coverage, look at that during your pregnancy. Call your insurance company and find out what coverage you have. Find out what companies they cover. A lot of companies will tell you, hey, we have in-network providers, but it's your OBGYN and your pediatrician who have 10 minutes with you and may have no breastfeeding training. Just because they work in the pregnancy and infant care realm does not mean that they're breastfeeding experts. So find out who is covered. Make sure that you're not getting fed to companies like Simply Fed that are, low cost, high volume lactation companies that provide, lower quality care while using up your insurance benefits. Watch if you are getting a breast pump from a DME or a durable medical company that they are not offering classes bundled with your care. If they are offering classes bundled with your care, oftentimes these classes that appear to be free or included with your pump are not free. They're charging your insurance benefits. Airflow is the biggest offender of that policy, but we see it with other companies too. It's not, Airflow is just the queen of it. So if you are looking for a prenatal visit, there is no time that is too soon. Talk to your insurance company, find out your benefits, and then if their benefits that they offer don't suit your needs, then it's time to start looking at self-pay options. Most lactation consultants actually offer a very wide array of self-pay options that are actually far more affordable than people expect them to be, because most of our rates are actually on par with what you're going to pay through your insurance company, because even though preventative care should be free, it simply isn't because of predatory insurance companies. So, all things to consider, take a look at your benefits and then figure out what is the right time for you. But there's not a time that's too soon. And if you ever need somebody at any given point to answer your infant feeding questions, we're always here to help. So, hopefully that helps and happy pumping.